Hello there, friends. There are a few of you who I'm making this video for. Some of you who are kind of behind on where you need to be with your ebooks, and so I wanted to fill you in and give you back some of the basic information in recorded form so that if you're not sure of something, you have a last minute question, you have a place to go to get to it. So, as you should know, we're working on ebooks, which are basically digital books where you teach your reader about some kind of an issue that matters to you. So the first thing we did in class is we decided on what our issue would be. So each of you got the chance to choose. So what you do is in the classwork, in the Google Classroom for Writing Workshop, you click on classwork, and we have this topic, research-based informational writing. That's where everything that you need for your ebook is going to be. You can see ebook, 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 ebook. So what you'll do is you'll start by going down here where it says Research Wakelets, and this is basically a list of all the different topics that you can research for your ebook. So whatever topic you choose, when you click on the link for it, it'll take you to a page with lots of different resources about that topic. So there's lots to choose from. In fact, I think there's something like 14 or something options. So if you want to read about child labor or homelessness or gender biased dress codes, whichever you choose, you have to choose and stick with. So let's say that you decide you're going to research the topic of Asian hate or discrimination against Asians. You would click on that link and it would take you straight to this lovely resource full of articles about how Asians have been discriminated against. And most of the articles are pretty recent. Each Wakelet has a different number of articles. This Wakelet has, it says 13 items. So there's 13 articles in this Wakelet. Your job is to read and take notes on 5 articles. By articles, I mean any resource here on the Wakelet. So for example, like this one here is a video. That counts as one text. This here is a news article. That would count as one text. So your goal is to read 5 texts about the topic you chose. Now, when you're reading about the topic, you're not just reading the text, you're actually taking notes on them. So you would keep this Wakelet open, but then you go back to Classroom, and here where it says Research Notes, you would open up your Notes document, which looks something like this. It's got purple instructions, and then it has some places where you're going to add in a bunch of information. So for each resource, what you'll do is if you decide, let's say you decide you're going to start by reading this article, Celebrating Asian American History. You would start by clicking on that resource and make sure you have those research notes open and ready to go. And of course, you'll start by putting your name at the top of them. So you put your name, Sarah Whitman, or whatever your name is. And then where it says title and author, you will copy and paste the title and author of your chosen text. So for this article, it's called As Asian Americans Face Racist Attacks, a PBS series celebrates their unsung history. That whole thing is the title. I'm going to take it, copy it, I'm going to paste it right in here. And notice when I paste, instead of just doing a regular paste, if I want the font to be a little bit more normalized, if I use my 2-finger click option, or the right click for you if you're using a mouse, you can choose paste without formatting, and then it won't change the style of the text. I'm going to make sure I put my article title in quotation marks, and then I will put the name of the author. So I have to go back to the text, and this says, oh, by Los Angeles Times, adapted by Newsella staff. So I'm going to copy that whole piece of information because that is, in this case, the article. It's not the author. It's not a specific person. Then I need the date of the article. And this is important because we want to make sure we're using up-to-date information. So this article is from May 22nd of 2020. So it's just under a year old. So I'm going to copy that date, or I could even just go in and just write it myself, May 22nd, 2020. For website link, you'll just go to the link and you will copy the URL up here. And you will copy and you will paste the URL right where it says website link, like so. Okay, then in the next section, you have this details, main ideas, central idea. Don't worry too much about the main ideas column. I'm not as worried about that. I'm worried about details and the central idea. So what you do for your first article of 5 is you'll start by reading the first little bit. So you might read the first 2 paragraphs. Like this one says, like many immigrant children, actor Daniel Day Kim didn't learn of his parents' difficult move to the United States until later in life. He was a teenager when they finally told him about it. Their story is similar to many of the stories highlighted in PBS's new 5-part docuseries, Asian Americans. Kim's parents told him how they came to the United States from South Korea with just $200. Kim was 1 year old at the time. Eventually, the family built a life in Pennsylvania, said Kim. Okay, so this is some pretty specific information about one person that I don't think is going to really be necessary for me in a ebook that I'm writing, because my ebook isn't going to be about this particular actor. But I think it's maybe worth noting that PBS has a documentary series called Asian Americans. So I could go into my details and I'll choose my option for bullets, little lines and bullets here, and then I'll put something like PBS aired a documentary series called Asian Americans, where it, I don't know, that's probably good enough for now. Okay, next bullet. So I don't really think there's anything else in that two paragraphs that I need to worry about right now. So I'm going to keep going. And this then it says stories of internment. And this has some specific stories about people who were imprisoned, it looks like during the Gulf War. But I don't really feel like there's too much about um, there's not it's kind of about a lot of specific individuals. So I might go down a little bit more here where it says growing anti-Asian sentiment. This seems a little bit more like what I'm looking for because sentiment that is anti-Asian, that's what I'm writing about. So then I can see, let's see, the series airs during Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. Tajima Pena says it feels particularly important right now because of the growing anti-Asian sentiment in America spurred on by the COVID-19 pandemic. A pandemic is when a disease has spread all over a country or the world. Some people have been unfairly blaming Asians and Asian Americans for the virus. Okay, that's important. So I'm going to go back to my notes. I'm going to write um, more people have been hateful toward Asian Americans in the last year because they blame Asian people for COVID. Oops. 19. And notice I'm not taking exactly what I read. I'm trying to put it in my own words because in the end, that's what I'm going to have to do in my ebook. So I might as well do it now and not risk like unintentionally plagiarizing. So I'm trying to read a little bit and then take some notes. I'll come back, I'll read some more. You're going to keep doing this until you get to the end of the article. And then you're going to do it for a total of 5 sources. If you're doing it for a video, you would stop the video after a few seconds after you've listened to a section and then go in, take some notes on what you wrote or what you heard, and then watch the next few minutes. Take some notes on what you heard, watch the next few minutes. Keep doing it like that. Usually not even minutes, we're talking seconds here. You might watch 30 seconds of the video and have 3 or 4 good points. So for most of the sources in this list, you'll have somewhere between like 10 and 20 bullet points for that source. So that's step one. That really should have been finished a few weeks ago. So some of you are behind and need to get this done first because you can't do the next steps without this step being done. So you should have 5 sources detailed in this organizer, the research notes. Okay? Once you're past that step, the next step is that you have to organize all those notes that you got into chapters. So when you write your ebook, it's going to have a minimum of 3 chapters. So there'll be a chapter called What is Blank, where you'll talk about your subject. So if you're writing about homelessness, your first chapter would be called What is Homelessness? Your second chapter should be about a specific young activist. So if you're writing about homelessness, you would find a specific activist. Somewhere in the Wakelet articles, you'll find one. So for example, here this one says 13-year-old rallies hundreds and fights anti-Asian hate. So you could write about this 13-year-old who looks like their name is Ashlyn So. So your second chapter might be called something like Let's Meet an Activist, or it could be called Meet Ashlyn So. And then you would write all about her in the second chapter. Your third chapter that's required is a chapter where you talk about what the reader should do now that they know about the issue. So now that you've taught them about what Asian hate is and what activists are doing, your next step is to talk about what can the reader do? How can they get involved? How can they learn more and take action? So that's the next step. And you complete all of that ordered organization in the chapter organizer. So here where it says ebook chapter organizer, that's where you would do that. That's where you would take those notes and sort of like plan out how your chapters are going to go. If you need some examples, you can click here where it says ebook exemplars, and there's some examples of good quality ebooks written by former students that I've taught. When you're ready to create your ebook, you're going to use this ebook final place, and that's where you're going to actually create the book. And if you're not sure of how to create it or format it, there's a video right here called How to Create and Format Your Ebook. So if you're behind, you have a lot of steps that you have to accomplish to get to the point where you're ready to put your ebook together. So hopefully this information in this video helps you to understand what you need to do, and you need to also ask for help if you need it, okay? Don't hesitate to ask for help. I'm happy to help you, but you need to ask. You need to tell me what's confusing, and you need to really try your best before saying you can't do it, okay? So I'm here to help you. I hope this helps, and I will talk to you soon in class. Bye.